Okay, we're on number 13. Using complete sentences, discuss the differences in the two functions shown below. Include the location of the asymptote of each function, the domain of each function, and the range of each function, and whether the function is increasing or decreasing. Okay, so what we're going to do is graph each one of these in the calculator. See what they look like. So we're going to do y equals 3 to the x, and y equals parentheses 1 divided by 3 to the x. And to see the difference between, I'm going to make the second one darker by moving over to the left and pushing enter one time, and it makes a thicker line. And then we'll graph. And I am zoomed out or something, so I'm going to go to zoom 6. Let it quit graphing. Zoom 6. There we go. There is 3 to the x, and that is 1/3 to the x. And it looks like it goes below that, but it really doesn't. The horizontal asymptote is along the x-axis, so it's y equals 0 for both of them. And this is actually decreasing and getting closer and closer to y equals 0. It is not touching it, even though it looks like that on the graph. And over here, this one is the growth. This is y equals 3 to the x here, and it is getting closer and closer to y equals 0, but not touching it either. Okay, so this one, I'm just going to draw a little graph of it. You don't have to do this. This is the wrong one. This one is 3 to the x, which is the skinnier one that is growing. And this is 1/3 of the x, which is decaying. Okay, so we're going to talk about the location of the asymptote first. For both of these, they are at y equals 0. So you will write complete sentences on your paper, but for now, I am not going to write complete sentences. I'm going to say both functions y equals 0. That's the horizontal asymptote. Okay, and then for both functions, we're going to do the domain and range. The domain and range. Both functions, the domain is all reals. And you can use the symbol for all reals if you want when you're writing complete sentences. Okay, now the range for y equals 3 to the x, the range is y is greater than 0, and it's actually the same for y equals 1/3 of the x. The range is y is greater than 0. Okay, and then tell whether the function is increasing or decreasing, and y equals 3 to the x is obviously increasing. Y equals 1/3 to the x is decreasing. On your test, you will write this information in complete sentences, or I will count off. Want it written in complete sentences. Okay, then, number 14. You bought a car in 2007 worth $34,000. The value of the car has depreciated exponentially. It is now worth, year 2014, after it's really last year, $11,300. If the domain is 2007 to 2020, what is the range of the situation? Okay, what we're going to do is make a table to help us out with this. Okay, and we've got number of years. We're going to have X for years. And this will be value in dollars. Okay, and that will be Y. Okay, so in 2007, we're going to call that year 0. The car was worth $34,000. Okay, and then in 2014, that would be 7 years later. So that's 7, year 7. The car is worth $11,300. Okay, and then we want to know how much it's worth in 2020. Well, that would be 6 more years. So 6 plus 7, that would be 13 years. or 2020 from 2007 is 13 years. And that's what we're trying to find. Okay, so what we're going to do is put these two in stat edit, and then we're going to do exponential regression. So I'm going to write stat edit here, and then exponential regression. Okay, so we'll go to stat edit, and in L1 I'm going to put 0 and 7. And then in L2 I'm going to put 34,000 and 11,300. Okay, and then I'm going to do stat calc. I'm going to write that right here, stat calc. And I'm going to scroll down until I see exponential regression, which is number 0. Push enter, and I'll push enter again. Okay, we end up with y equals a times b to the x, where a is 34,000, which makes sense. We know that that's 34,000. That's our starting value. And then b is 0.854391. So I'm going to use 0.854, 3 decimal places to the x. Okay, so now to find out for the 13th year, I'm going to put this equation that I got in y equals in my calculator. So I'm going to go to y equals and clear this out and do 34,000 parentheses 0.854 to the x power. Then I'll go to my table setup, and I'm going to start at 0 and go by ones. Then I'll go to the table. And I've got 34,000 at 0, and I'm going down to 13. And the car will be worth $4,369.50. Or you can round it to the nearest dollar, which would be $4,370. Okay, let's just check out year 7 and see if it's about the same. It's not quite the same, but it is close, 11,264. And that's because we rounded 0.854. If you didn't round, one way to do that is to do VARs and then statistics, EQ, regression equation, and it's going to put that equation in there. Okay, and then we'll go to the table and look up 13, and it's $4,395. Let's look at year 7. So year 7 is exactly, and so year 13 would be this would be a closer value. But I will take this value or this value, just depending on where, you round it at least to 3 decimal places. Don't go any lower than that. You need at least 3 decimal places. Okay, and that's the end of the review.